Holy, what's good with you? It's your boy 2A in LA, and as always, fam, anything I say in this episode, prior episodes, and future episodes is just my personal opinion. Don't take it as fact. Don't take it as law. Always do your own homework and come up with your own conclusions. Right about now, fam, I should go ahead and tap that like button for your boy. If you're new to the channel, I want to say welcome. Come on in. You can join the congregation by smashing that subscribe button and requesting all post notifications. And if you are an existing supporter of this channel, fam, I appreciate you more than you can possibly imagine. You are the reason this channel is anything. All right, fam, let's get this episode rolling. So look, fam, I did the review on the Masperpiece Arms DS9 a little while back. And I told you guys at that time how impressed I was with this pistol. Everything about it really caught me off guard. I was highly impressed with the quality of the manufacturing, how smooth it is. I was amazed at how flat it was. I was impressed with the trigger. Everything about this gun just kind of blew me away, including the price tag. I said at the time that there is not a sub $4,000 gun that is better than the DS9 Hybrid TC. I don't think there's one out there. And you know, I've got a lot of really good guns. I've got a lot of guns at kind of that entry level, but just kind of talking out loud about thinking about the guns that are kind of sub 4K. You guys know I had that limited edition Covert Jacob Gray, and that gun's $4.25, so not exactly a fair comparison. But for $3,500, that or the Hex, no, I'm taking MPA DS9 Hybrid TC every time. Staccato piece, stop it. Get the hell out of here. C2, get out of here. None of the C's, the C8, none of those guns. None of those guns. I'm trying to think of some of the other guns that are kind of out there in that range. The Bull Armory collection, look, those are very good guns. This gun is amazing. Better grip, in my opinion, than the Bull Armory. Better trigger than the Bull Armory, in my opinion. Amazing. Amazingly done. And certainly better than any of the kind of entry-level guns or the Prodigy or anything like that. So I think this is the best sub 4K gun out there. I also did a video comparing this gun to the Staccato XC. Now, you know my Staccato XC is built up. So if you haven't seen the initial review, go back and check those out. If you haven't seen the video that I did comparing this to the Staccato XC, then definitely check that out. In that video, I told you that if I, just out of the box, and keep in mind, my Staccato XC has an upgraded grip module, upgraded trigger, upgraded aesthetics, and so it's different. My upgraded Staccato scored an 89, right? This gun scored an 88 just as it is out of the box. Now, my Staccato XC out of the box, I think, was like an 83, 84, somewhere in there. And this is an 88 out of the box. So there is no, if I was a consumer and I was trying to decide between paying $4,500, $4,600 for a Staccato XC or paying $3,600 for this, I'm getting this. It's better. Better. Comparably manufactured, but better componentry. I think better machining, definitely better trigger, better grip. Yeah, yeah, just as flat. This comp is not for play, fam. A lot of times I feel like people throw on comps, but the effectiveness of the comp isn't on the level of a Staccato XC. This comp is. This comp is. They did a phenomenal job. Now, I give Staccato a lot of credit. They kind of led the marketplace with the XC, and now you have people like Masperpiece Arms that are coming for their head. So, okay, that's the way the cookie crumbles, right? But I thought today I'd pull out some of my mid-tier guns, some of my 4K plus guns, and similarly to what I did with the XC, I thought we compare those guns as well. So why don't we hop into it? Alright fam, let's take a look at what we brought out to play today. We brought out that custom Watchtower Apache, the Pew View Edition, upgraded by Skip Gun. Skip pinned the grip safety, put a new grip module on there, QC'd the gun, did a coating on the grip that matches everything. And so this is not your standard Pew View, but we brought this one out to do a comparison. We also brought out that Type A EG11. I had this gun for probably well over a year and some change now, and so let's talk about how this stacks up to the MPA. If you guys follow me, you know I love my Legion Precision Chirac. When this gun dropped, I felt like it was a game changer. Couldn't have a discussion about comp pistols without bringing out my custom Phoenix Trinity H-Tac with that comp on it. Arguably one of the best comp guns out there on the market. This gun is also upgraded by my main man Skip Guns, so had to bring out this one to have a talk. And last but not least, one of the more recent additions to my collection, we have that Race City Defense RC9. Alright, so look fam, we can spend all day talking about all of these guns, but I'll say this right off the bat. All of these guns are phenomenal. So this is not a shot at any manufacturer. It's more of me trying to provide a little bit of information for you, as a lot of you guys are weighing kind of the decision you should make relative to your purchases. So let's start off comparing the DS9 to the Pew View. Of course, the Pew View Edition is no longer available, but you can still get a Watchtower Unlimited. So let me just say, aesthetically, I think that the Watchtower is a more impressive looking gun, right? Particularly the way I have it done here. Now keep in mind though, when this gun first dropped, I think it was around 4K, somewhere in that ballpark, it had a 3D printed grip, it had some QC issues. It is not the gun you see here today, redone by my man Skip. So out of the box, this gun was probably about $400 more. The way you see it here, it's probably closer to a $5,000 gun than a $4,000 gun. So what I would say is, aesthetically, this gun is a better looking gun, but shooting wise, just shooting experience, manufacturing quality, I think the MPA is just as good for, you know, once you add the upgrades, about $1,400 less. So again, out of the box, the MPA is just as good a shooter with better machining, in my opinion. The main difference between the two guns, although the Watchtower is very soft shooting, I don't want to make it seem like it's not, but I think that this comp is probably doing about 30% of the work that this comp is doing. It's just a better comp. And if you look, you know, I have two Watchtowers. I have this one, I have my 1-of-1 Dragon. Now my Dragon has a competition comp. That one is more comparable to this one. But yeah, if I were only going to buy one gun and what I was in search for was not necessarily the most aesthetically pleasing gun, but just the best all-around shooter, yeah, I'm probably getting the MPA at a $400 discount or so out of the box. And I'm not sure. I'll put up there, obviously the Pew View is no longer available. I'm not sure if the Unlimited is still at that $4,000 price point or if it's going up, but I'll put the MSRP of the Unlimited up there so you can see it. If it's closer to $4,500, then that gun is $900 to $1,000 more expensive than this one out of the box. So again, if I'm just going off shootability, I'm probably going for the MPA-TC. Alright fam, next up, the EG11. Look, you guys know I have, if you watch the channel, you know at least, that I have a mixed feelings about my EG11. This is one of the few guns where I got and I had to send it back almost immediately because it was having cycling issues and other problems. They fixed it. They sent it back to me. Took them a month to do it. I'm still a little salty about that. But it's a phenomenal shooting gun. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I would say that this gun is, you know, $1,000+ cheaper than this one. It's flatter. The machining is better. Again, aesthetically, I think probably the Type A has it over the MPA. And I'll say this, I said this when I did the review. The criticism of the MPA typically is that they make guns that are designed to run. They are less concerned about aesthetics. They would rather save you some money relative to aesthetics, because a lot of these pistols are competition type pistols. They'd rather save you some money and just have a gun that runs. Right? And so, look, I think aesthetically the Type A is better. But again, if I'm buying a gun and I want a combination, even if I took this gun and I put another $500 to $1,000 into it to upgrade the aesthetics, if it would even cost that much, right? Now I've got a gun that is at the same price or maybe even cheaper that looks just as good as this and runs way better. So again, I'm probably choosing the MPA. All right, fam. Next up, the Legion Precision Shot Rack. So look, this one is very interesting to me because at the time I bought this gun, it was, for the 5-inch version, which this is, was $3,500. So these two prices at the time that I bought them were very, very comparable. Now this is a comp gun and this gun is ported. This gun has a chilly grip. I feel like aesthetically, again, I feel like the Chirac is a better looking gun. I think componentry wise, they are very similar to one another. I think the manufacturing though on the MPA is probably a little bit better than this gun. And I would also say that this big comp, is probably making the gun a little softer, a little flatter shooting than the ports on the Chirac. Again, both phenomenal guns without a doubt. The issue is this gun is now $4,500 and this gun is about, like I said, I think $3,500, $3,600. So $900 to $1,000 cheaper for the MPA. Again, if I'm just going off shootability and manufacturing, I'm probably getting the MPA. Although I love the look of the Chirac, and it is a tack driver. So is this. And like I said at the start of this isn't taking a shot at any of these manufacturers. All of these guns are phenomenal. Phenomenal. You couldn't go wrong with any of the guns that I'm pulling out today. That's why they're in my collection. But I'm just trying to give you a sense or a feel about kind of the differences between these guns so you can make a more informed decision. All right, next up, the Phoenix Trinity H-Tac. Now we're kind of comparing, kind of apples to apples. Two full-size comp guns. Now, to be fair, this gun is not what it was out of the box. Like I said, I sent this out to my man Skip. We upgraded the coating. We upgraded the grip module. So this gun has some more money into it. And I would say shootability, shooting experience, these two guns are probably very comparable. But what I would also say is once you add out of the box, I think aesthetically, yeah, this gun is probably better than the Masperpiece arms. But I think from a manufacturing process perspective, from a shootability perspective, the MPA is better. It took me adding what you see here to get these guns kind of on the same level. Now, I think shooting experience, flatness, all of that, these are comparable guns. I think aesthetically, this is a more aesthetically appealing gun. But is it worth another $1,500? You be the judge of that. I'll just say, like if I only had one gun, I would probably, I don't know. Again, I'm sending my MPA out. How you see it now is not how it's going to be. You know your boy don't play. How you see it now is not how it's going to be. So let's stand by. let's have this same video, in a few months' time when I get this back in, and now where I'm saying aesthetically these guns are better, shootability, this gun is as good or better. Well, when I bring the level of the aesthetics up on this one, let's see then what the dollar value is here compared to these other ones, and then we can have maybe a different kind of discussion. All right, fam, last but not least, the Race City 9 versus the MPA DS9. So look, I'll say this again, it's not apples for apples. This is a compensated gun, and this is a ported gun, so the shooting experience is a little bit different. I would say, though, that the Race City 9 is the closest in terms of the quality of the manufacturing, the fit, finish, feel of the gun, the shootability of the gun, I think are right on par with the MPA, probably a little better. My recollection is that this gun scored like an 88, 80, I think an 89, and this one scored an 88 out of the box. Both of these are out of the box guns. I haven't done anything to either other than throwing an optic and a light on them. So from that perspective, I think, again, from that perspective, it's more apples to apples. But if I had to choose one or the other, I would probably lean towards Race City Defense. Now, it's more money, but I think aesthetically, again, it's a more attractive gun. And this one, I think, is as good, if not a little better, from a shootability perspective than the MPA. But amazing. But again, this gun, I want to say, is right around $4,000. This one, $3,600. So it's about $400, $500 difference. So is this gun $400, $500 better? Probably. Probably. Taking into consideration aesthetics and equal shootability, I'm probably getting the Race City 9 before I get the MPA. But the fact that it's right there is a testament to how well done this gun is made. All right, fam, so look, if you've got a budget of around $4,000, give or take a few $100, I would definitely be looking at the MPA. If you can afford a few more bucks to pick you up a Race City 9, that's something I would definitely be looking at too. But man, at $3,600, this gun is a steal. It is a steal. So look, fam, that's it for this episode. I just wanted to, again, bring out some of the toys, let you guys kind of see them, compare them, have a conversation about them. Hopefully you found this helpful. Definitely leave a comment and let me know. All right? That's it for this episode, fam. Until next time, as always, take care of one another and peace.